Kiwi.
102.2 Auckland.
Basically, this generation is more liberal, more tolerant, more Democrat-leaning than the one before. It's not just because they're young.
For another point of view, it's Hard News with Russell Brown and Wammo on Kiwi.
From publicaddress.net, the Hard News blog, also the Media 7 show on TBNZ7. Russell Brown joins us. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning.
St. Pat's Day today, of course. I've just had some Guinness wander on into the Kiwi studio.
Good on you.
This morning. A little bit hair of the dog for me, really, to be honest, to be fair, this morning. Just let everyone in on that. A miracle I made it here, to be fair.
Oh, I'm shocked.
But,
well, not really, no.
But the whole St. Pat's thing's been a bit of a mystery to me. I don't really understand it.
No. I mean, good luck to people who enjoy it. It's never quite done it for me.
No.
It seems a tiny bit contrived for people who aren't of Irish ancestry, but if people enjoy it, then, you know.
It's an excuse to party, I suppose, to get together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you were quoted in the House yesterday in Parliament. Why was that?
Yeah, a tweet. We've worked out that it's not the first tweet to be quoted in the House, it's the first genuine one, because John Key quoted David Cunliffe in the House last year, but it turned out to be the fake David Cunliffe. So it's the first legitimate tweet to be quoted in the House.
Yeah.
Basically, Phil Twyford, who's the Auckland issue spokesman for Labour, put it to Rodney Hyde, what were the words? Does he agree with media commentator Russell Brown, who said this morning in relation to council-controlled organisations that the Minister is telling flat-out lies about this stuff? Which actually wasn't quite what I said. Rodney Hyde replied that he'd never agreed with me, which actually isn't true either. But what it came down to actually was yesterday on Morning Report, Rodney Hyde made the claim that the CCOs that are coming with the Super City Council-controlled organisations, which are rather ironically named, because they can pretty much police themselves.
Do their own thing, yeah.
But he said that they are, quote, bound to do what the council wants them to do. They're entirely directed by local councils. And I retweeted that and said that's a flat-out lie, which it is. It's astonishing that he was actually able to, Rodney Hyde was actually able to go on the radio and say that. Because from a short list of things of ways in which the elected Auckland Council won't be able to control these CCOs, they won't be able to appoint or dismiss the chair or deputy chair. The Auckland Transport CCO, which is the one that everyone's worried about because it's basically running roads right down to the suburban level, and it'll be huge. It's not required to act in accordance with the requirements of its shareholder, which is the Auckland Council.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to give effect to any strategy, the regional land transport strategy, or Auckland Council policy. So it can basically ignore Auckland Council policy. It can set up companies, sell assets, enter into major financial commitments without the approval of the elected council. And, the Auckland Council is going to be the only meaningful democratic body that we actually get to vote for, because the community boards will have virtually no powers. And the way that the legislation has been drawn up will take huge swathes of services in Auckland outside the reach of an elected council. It's astonishing. And the fact that Rodney Hyde can go on the radio and say that these organisations are going to be entirely directed by local councils, it just defies belief.
Completely wrong.
It is. Absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
And it was sort of wronger if he'd said that CCOs will do the right thing. Well, I suppose you could argue that, even though they don't have to in the law, but he actually said that they're bound to do what council wants them to do. That is so demonstrably untrue that it's astonishing that he could say it. And I do think that the government's possibly getting a little bit worried about the way this is going, because you had editorials in the Herald on Saturday, the Herald on Sunday, a number of the Fairfax suburban freebies went absolutely ballistic about this. So
really getting down to the grassroots level, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Whether that's actually changing hearts and minds in Auckland, who knows? I don't know. I think Auckland is quite good at ignoring politics, but I think that there's a real tidal swell of discontent building up on this. Also, especially because, as Computer World pointed out on Monday, because of the accelerated time frame of the amalgamation, the formation of the super city, the supposed reason for doing it all, which would be cost savings and efficiencies, aren't going to happen, especially in IT. So it's actually going really, really poorly, Wammo.
Well, the drums are starting to beat anyway, and that's a start. Russell, let's talk about this, because we haven't spoken about it before. Pacific Fibre, a bunch of smart men are getting together to lay a new cable, as it were, out there in the ocean and get us a good fat internet pipe. Yeah,
and I have actually heard people like Rod Drury and Lance Wiggs and Sam Morgan talk about the need for proper international capacity that's not priced so as to maximise revenue and basically create artificial scarcity. Because the situation at the moment with the Southern Cross cable is that there's still tons of spare capacity, but its owners, who are Optus and Telecom, basically, and everyone else does this too, are pricing it to create this artificial scarcity so that they can make as much money as possible. Which works for them, does not work at all for us. And so what the local entrepreneurs have done, and they don't have the money themselves. They have, they're wealthy men, but they're not that wealthy. But they are hoping that their reputations will help them gain investment behind the project, and it looks like that will happen. To replicate that cable route and build a much bigger, fatter cable, and actually start on the assumption that bandwidth is plentiful. And I think it's going to make a really big difference, actually.
Yeah, Russell, can I float an idea with you, and you can tell me probably why this isn't possible. But you know how in the electricity industry you now have powershop.co.nz, where you can go on there and effectively get the best price possible and pay for power into the future as well. You don't have to necessarily go to one provider. You can select from multiple providers, all that sort of thing. Is it possible to have something like that for bandwidth? The reason why this came up was someone said the other day, I've got another 20 gigs left of my 40 gigabyte plan. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if they could go onto an online service like Powershop, sell those gigabyte units on to someone else at another price, and then some kind of central trading point for bandwidth?
There's no reason it couldn't be done. There'd be a few technical issues to get around because, ISPs do this all the time at a higher level in the chain. To do it for consumers, there'd have to be some sort of separation there between the company that is assigned the IP address you're using and whoever else is supplying the bandwidth and into it. But hey, there's no reason it couldn't be done.
Yeah, because essentially, the same thing happens in the electricity industry. That trading goes on at a higher level, the hedge market, I think they call it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's all units at the end of the day.
Yep.
It'll be interesting. I don't know. They're just floating it out there. Maybe someone wants to carry that on, start it off. Who knows?
Yeah, no, and you could do things like have use particular routes for certain things you want to do, or that might perform better for certain jobs, or that sort of thing. No, it's that sort of thing is entirely possible. It would be interesting to see who would actually do it, but.
I finally, just very quickly, the Media 7 topic this week is Asperger's.
Yeah. Asperger's syndrome. There's a really good cover story in North and South magazine, which, God, that magazine's really come back from the dead, on Asperger's syndrome, which I think explains things pretty well. So we'll be talking to the writer, Joanna Wayne, also Helen Baxter, who you know, Ms. Behaviour.
From The Geek Show.
Indeed. And Edwin McRae, who was the storyliner on Shortland Street, who ushered in both the Gabrielle character, who was an Aspie, and I actually thought was quite well handled, and also the storyline about vaccines. One of the characters handing out leaflets saying that vaccines cause autism.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people believe. There's no evidence for it, but that's one of the perennial arguments around this. Because I don't know if the listeners know, but both my sons are Asperger's syndrome.
Yeah.
Mildly autistic. Pretty bright, but has some challenges.
And currently looking for a programmer, I see.
Yeah. No, that's going quite well actually. I think we found a computer programming tutor for 15-year-old Leo, so that's good.
Great. Was that through the blog or through Twitter?
Through the blog, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Nice. The internet's doing the job.
But anyway, if people are particularly interested in the topic, they can come along to TVNZ at 5 p.m, come around to the Victoria Street entrance and just turn up, and we should have room for everyone. Otherwise, watch it on TV at 9:10 tomorrow night.